So you know how right now Doge is gutting the federal government and USAID specifically, and a lot of it's being done under the guise of canceling wasteful spending. Before Donald Trump took office, there was a bunch of, conservative memery about, did you know the US government spent $60,000 researching whether or not seatbelts work or some bullshit like that? Like our total federal expenditure is measured in trillions, but people are like, yeah, well, actually, did you know that like $100,000 went to something that I don't personally understand? Wow, that's incredible. I really like the shrimp treadmill example because this came up so much. Yeah, billions and billions of condoms to Gaza, 100 trillion to Hamas condoms. Wouldn't you want that so they don't reproduce and make more Hamaslings? Whatever. Anyway, I just saw this. I thought it was funny. 3 million taxpayer dollars was used to study how fast shrimp can run on a treadmill. You've got to be kidding me. Man, look at what these liberals waste money on. Now, this guy's actually the nephew of Roger Stone, believe it or not. He's been doing like a big Twitter grift lately. Host of the Alex Stone Show, follower of Jesus. I bet. Adopted nephew of Roger Stone. Actually, maybe he's lying about the adopted nephew of Roger Stone bit. I don't know. I don't really care to investigate it, to be honest with you. I have recently become eligible for subscriptions. If you like my content, please consider subscribing for only $1 a month. It'll soon be $3. The benefits of subscribing to me: exclusive content, immediate followbacks, monthly shoutouts, more coming soon. Thank you. 1 hour ago, I was wrong. It's the right intelligentsia, hard at work. Incredible stuff. At least he admitted it. No, I'm not giving him anything. If I guarantee you this guy in a month will talk about the shrimp treadmill as though he was right about it initially. Okay. None of these people believe in anything. However, the basic premise of it is that 3 million was spent on shrimp treadmill, but it actually wasn't. Sholnick paid $47 out of pocket for the first shrimp treadmill and $1,000 for the second one. Now, I know what you're wondering. What is a shrimp treadmill? I agree. It's probably a better use of our money than anything else going on, to be honest with you. I don't know what else you're doing. Let them get cardio in. Now, you might be wondering, what are they studying? Like, why are they doing this? Well, it's actually interesting. The reason they're doing the shrimp treadmill is because they wanted to investigate what levels and what types of water pollution lead to decreased physical health in the shrimp. So the shrimp industry is billions and billions of dollars, right? Like lots of people eat shrimp. It's a huge cornerstone. It's a huge part of our like ecological, it's not just like ecology types who are interested. This is like a business concern too, which is, what are our margins on the health of shrimp? Like if you have so many parts per million in the water, will that affect their ability to, engage in physical activity, to stay healthy? This affects all of us, right? So for basically no money, what was it, $1,026? For basically no money, this is research that applies to a pretty wide range of practices and industries. I mean, this is useful stuff, but it's been mocked roundly. I'm mocking this one post right here. Conservatives at large, like tens of millions of views on these posts collectively, 3 million to the shrimp treadmill. Some of them don't say 3 million. They say 10 million or 20 or 100. Why not? It's nothing. They're so stupid. It's actual civilizational decline. Like this specifically is literally like how Rome fell type stuff, I'm gonna be real with you. Society can survive a lot of reactionary stuff. Like the persecution of gay people does not collapse society necessarily. It's bad and it doesn't help anyone, but societies have persisted in spite of widespread homophobia, sexism, whatever the fuck else, right? Maybe they were transphobic in the Roman Empire. I wouldn't know. Except for that one empress. I don't know. I don't care. Societies can't survive this. This is unsurvivable. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? This is unworkable. It goes beyond just like, are you making people's lives worse? You actually like end civilizations with this behavior. I'm referencing a tweet that I'm very fond of. Me making fun of your crop rotation idea and thereby holding our people back another 5,000 years. Jeff thinks the beans have to take turns Lamau. This, unironically, applies to all Republican criticism of federal funding. Literally everything, all the US aid funding, all the research grant, everything the DOE does, all of it. Like, it literally, like, it's over. Sorry, I keep bringing things back to China all the time, but anti-intellectualism is one of the reasons why they suffered so much death during the Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution. Yeah, like Lysenkoism, right? Like, one of the reasons China rebounded was after, you know, the worst period of the Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution, where, you know, you're having like rice farmers making pig iron in their backyard, killing sparrows, whatever else. You do have a bounce back. And the modern day Chinese Communist Party, while reactionary and in many senses fascistic, is still largely interested in the upkeep and operation of their country. Republicans are not interested in the upkeep of this country. I would say that if there's anything you can praise the Chinese Communist Party for, and please remember that even though I've been speaking of them more positively of late because I'm comparing them to the United States, I am not pro Chinese Communist Party. I still must say this, though. One of their biggest accomplishments is the fact that despite being a capitalist and bourgeois-run nation, they have largely wrangled in capital to the national interest. Not perfectly, obviously, but they will execute wealthy people over there if they feel the need to. There have been instances where the government has gone, nope, sorry, rich people, you went too far with this one. We're bringing it back in, you know? That shit does not happen here. And as a consequence, with, you know, rationalism tossed to the wayside, we are facing like an unironic Jeff thinks the beans have to take turns Lamau situation. You understand what I'm going on about here? It's very scary stuff. The worst part about it, though, and I've talked about this before, the only thing worse than being a half-wit is being a midwit, okay? The average American is a half-wit. Stupid, slovenly, fat, lazy, intellectually incurious, you know, a simple beast, like a pastoral animal, like a, you know, pig or a goat or something. Lovable, perhaps, but we know how Americans are. Now, these people, by and large, are stupid, but, you know, there's a kind of earnest simplicity in their nature. This is the behavior of a midwit. You know the phrase, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing? That's this guy. It's this rising class of conservative intelligentsia, J.D. Vance is a lot like this, who are in agreement with all of the stupidest 65 IQ racists in the country on basically every social issue, but they're embarrassed by the fact that they share a common political cause with all these halfwits. So instead, they try to hastily rationalize their stupid beliefs by constructing this apparatus of like fake intelligentsia. This was hillbilly elegy, by the way. J.D. Vance, despite being a stupid racist, was embarrassed by Midwestern, you know, his Midwestern compatriots, his peers. His whole book was about how, like, I'm better than them, but, like, you know, like, they're up, I'm better than them, but, like, I agree with them. Like, J.D. Vance's politics overlap 99% with the stupidest man in West Virginia, but he doesn't like that fact because he has all his teeth in his head, you know? Does that make sense? It's this rising, like, to be Republican, you have to be some kind of stupid. There's just no getting around that anymore. So for those who believe they're smart, they make themselves stupider, creating this, like, loose framework of justifications. You've seen people like this on Twitter, right? Like these Nazis who think, like, they pretend to read Hegel, they pretend to be aristocrats. That's this whole thing right now, right? Like those photos from the soiree at the inauguration. You had all the people in the suits and people are like, the roaring 20s are back. And they're like wearing Shein and Temu dresses and stuff and their suits fit like shit. And they all look awful, but they're like pretending they're part of some aristocratic upper crust when in reality they're going back home to like an air fryer on the counter or something. You understand, like, this midwittery is very dangerous. I would rather try to explain shrimp treadmill to a halfwit than a midwit. Wouldn't you agree? Like, imagine right now for a moment, you're trying to explain shrimp treadmill, and you have two people you have to explain it to, and one of them is a random Republican in Idaho, just a random one, roll the dice. And the other one is like a Twitter paleocon, quote-unquote, intellectual who has read a summary of Hegel from a Twitter thread and talks as though he's auditioning to be in The Great Gatsby, and he agrees with everything the Idaho Republican believes in, like with regard to social values, but he takes way longer to explain why he believes in it. Which would you rather explain shrimp treadmill to? There's a correct answer. First one. And yeah, I mean, it was kind of rhetorical, but like it took a second. The GIF alone is worth $1,000. I agree. Yeah, I would rather have a conversation with somebody who says common sense as an explanation for why they believe what they believe than a person who makes, or attempts to make, I should say, a philosophical rationalization for why common sense is actually a good heuristic to defer to. I would rather somebody say, yeah, it's common sense, than for somebody to say, actually, common sense is a euphemism for the projected values of the intersubjective form, and for that reason, common sense is actually like the most important thing to defer to, because that person has intelligently constructed excuses for stupidity rather than a person just being stupid. You get me. This is important. The Neil Denkovsky syndrome, actually true. Yes. It's sophistry, right? Yeah, but they don't know it, which is pretty embarrassing.